The other day I had a great conversation with a good friend of mine. He's an amazing coach. And we were talking about like previous jobs. I was looking back to my 20s, my 30s, early 40s when I worked in retail and I worked for ABC News and I worked at a major US bank. And just how there's always what we could call toxic people or toxic coworkers or toxic work environments. And especially with New Year's rolling around and with people making resolutions and stuff, that's kind of a buzzword these days, is toxic this and that. And it dawned on me in the conversation, I just got this insight where there are no such things as toxic people and there are no such thing as toxic work environments. And I say that because I know some of you are probably going, oh, he's totally wrong. There are no toxic people and there are no toxic work environments because we're the ones making the stuff up. We're the ones creating our experience. You know, we like to think our experience is from our circumstances or the people around us, but in actuality, our life experience is coming from our thinking and our consciousness. That's what creates and shapes and forms our experience. For the same reason, there's a window over there. For the same reason, two people can look out a window and see completely different things. Two people can listen to a piece of music and get different emotions. Or we can hear a joke and one person can get it, the other person doesn't. If it was an outside dictates the inside, if we live from the outside in, we would all feel the same way from the joke. We would all feel the same way from the music. We would all see only the same things looking out the window. But that's just not the case. You know, if going back to the work environment, say we're all doing the same job. There's three of us or four of us. We're all doing the same job. I don't like person X. I think they're toxic. I think the work environment is toxic because of this person. Yet coworker Y and coworker Z are thriving. One's getting promoted. One just got a raise. You know, like they've got better partnerships with higher ups. It's obviously not person X. Like that's not the problem. The problem is my interpretation, my thinking around that person. So I think there's a certain type of ownership we have to take with that because there are no toxic people and there are no toxic work environments. We're the ones making all this crap up. We're the ones deciding if it's good or if it's bad, if it's right or if it's wrong. You know, when I worked in television for a long stretch of that time, my paycheck was the same, almost the same number for like 4 or 5 years, every 2 weeks. And there were some weeks, you know, we look at the paycheck and it's almost the same number. Some weeks I thought it was an amazing paycheck. Other times I thought it was awful. We're the ones making it up. It's the same numbers. You know, we can look at our financial statements. It's going to be the same number whether we think it's good or bad. We're just the ones creating the experience through our thinking and our consciousness if it's good or bad. So I don't believe that there's any bad or toxic. I think that word's just such an overused buzzword, but there's no toxic work environments and there's no toxic people. It's just we have contaminated thinking around that person or environment. And I just think we have to take some kind of ownership of that too. And I'm not saying it's good or bad or it's going to go away in a second, but it could. And what if we're open to that possibility that it could go away in a second? You know, if it's made of our thoughts and our consciousness, and I'm just rambling here, but you know, have you ever had one of those dreams where you wake up and it was just a very vivid dream? And then you get up, you make your cup of coffee, you go to the bathroom, and then just a few minutes later, you can't remember what was in that dream. Like you remember vaguely what happened, but all the details and the experiences that you had that seemed so vivid while you were dreaming are now gone. Well, technically, if we look at thought as the principle of thought, it's the same way with our thoughts around the toxic person or the toxic work environment. Thoughts can be just as fleeting, whether it's a dream or even a to-do list, because that's why we write them down, is because we know by the time we get to the store, we'll forget it, which I may or may not have done today. But thoughts are fleeting, and I think we just have this idea that the negative thoughts around people or environments aren't as fleeting. But thought in general, the principle of thought, it's like gravity. It's, it doesn't matter if you're feeling self-conscious that day. It doesn't matter if you're feeling particularly enthusiastic. I don't need to listen to a Tony Robbins tape in order for gravity to work. I don't need to change my state. Gravity is going to work whether I'm in a high mood, a low mood, whatever kind of mood. Gravity still works without you knowing. It has no judgment on you. It doesn't care about your affiliation, your religious background, political background. It's going to work either way. But for some reason, we hang on to those negative thoughts around people and environments, and we think that what we're thinking now is what we're going to be thinking later. And so I can only give you my personal opinion and my experience, but I feel like negative thoughts tend to circle around and hang around longer than other ones. And I'm kind of curious as to why we tend to hang on and give more weight to negative thoughts than we do positive ones. But I just don't think there's any toxic people, and I don't think there's any, especially after an interesting political year, I don't think there's any toxic people, and I don't think there's any toxic work environments. We're the ones making all this crap up. That's why we can all have different opinions, and that's why we can all see different things in different conversations and different interactions. So just a little food for thought. I might hop on here more often and kind of do some insights, because I think it's, in a way, very therapeutic to get it out. Whether or not people watch is a whole different thing. But until next time, I hope you have a great day.